I don't think I have anything that needs addressed. I think I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, you just want to hit it? All
Yeah,
right.
let's get after it.
Let's get the logo in the top right corner
Yeah.
and crank up the volume, turn off the loop. All right. Three, two, one.
Welcome to Off the Cut, a podcast where we talk about building, making.
And answering all of your questions.
I'm Eric from Spenceley Design Co.
And I'm Zach from Zach Builds. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on air, you can send it to offthecutpodcast@gmail.com.
You can find both of us on YouTube, Instagram, and unfortunately, because we have to keep up with the kids, you can find us on TikTok too.
All right, now let's get into the show.
You've just entered Off the Cut episode 99. The Gretzky.
Oh,
The
the
great
Gretzky.
one.
The Gretzky. Hey, I was on Facebook the other day. Lord knows why. And I
Are you
was
90
looking. You know
years
how they
old?
have those things? It's like people you might know.
I,
It like
I, I've just continued with the story. I have no
okay.
idea because I don't use
Facebook
Facebook.
recommends people to you. It's people you may know, and I was like, oh, that's a weird name. Not seen that one before. And it was Paulina Gretzky. So it was Wayne Gretzky's daughter was recommended as a potential friend for me on Facebook.
She's
Weird,
not.
right?
She's not hard on the eyes.
Yeah, evidently so.
We're getting distracted here.
Yep,
Pretty women
Tangent
are
City.
distracting us. Episode 99. We're up in Toronto and here today. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Up in Toronto and here in Ohio, today is known as Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, which means the Green Series podcast sucks. Everybody knows that. But what doesn't suck is KM Tools, baby.
That's right. For woodworkers, by woodworkers. If it's in their store, it's in their shop. Half of the stuff in the store was designed by Jonathan and his team, and the other half is just stuff that they really, really like, and they've, figured that out through using it themselves.
Yeah. It's all a great bang for the buck, high quality, not going to be garbage that you don't actually want, and a huge, well, I can't say a portion of all their proceeds goes towards the Katz Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund, and that way they can get hands in the tools. Oh my Lord. Tools in the hands of people who need it most. And if you want to get some tools in your hands, every single month, we give away Jonathan gives away a $50 gift card to KM Tools. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and you are automatically entered to win. Sign up for any tier and it's heading your way.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As a matter of fact, we actually want people on the lower tiers to win it.
I just think it's such a nice story, and I know, like, I don't mean to disparage our higher tier patrons because obviously they're supporting the show immensely,
right?
But it's just such a nice story to be like, yeah, I'm a patron on this thing. I pay $3 a month, and I got a $50 gift card the first month.
Right.
Fantastic.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But huge shout out to Jonathan and his team for supporting the show, and huge shout out to our patrons who are also supporting the show. And you know what, Zach?
What's that?
We got 1.5 new patrons this week.
I'm curious about that half.
Okay.
I'm very curious about that half. But give me the whole one first.
Yeah. So new patron, this is the name.
Oh, I saw this person in the Discord, and I was like, I cannot wait to hear Eric try to pronounce this name.
Okay, you ready? I'm just going to go for it. If you say it quick and forcefully, it's always right. Zarthalen.
Always interesting when there's an X in the name, right?
Yeah.
I never know which way to go with that. Yeah.
That is a name. That's an aggressive name. Now, what nationality do you think this is?
Every time I hear an X said as a Z, I think Chinese. But the last half of the, like, Thalen, that doesn't sound particularly Chinese to me. So, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss.
Okay, I'm going to go on Patreon. I'm not going to give you this individual's address or anything, but I'll at least tell you the country that they reside in.
Okay. This will be interesting.
Look at the most recent one.
Fun fact, when you become a patron of the podcast, we get all of your personal information. We get your SIN number, we get your home address, we get your checking account number, all your
Yeah.
credit cards. It's beautiful.
Ooh, okay, okay. And there
Oh,
is no information.
oh, mystery. Maybe they're from Mars.
It's very possible. You know what this probably Zarthalen probably time traveled
Oh,
from a
yeah, yeah.
different galaxy, different dimension.
What's the Andromeda Galaxy?
I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know. Well,
Oh,
anyway, huge shout out to Zarthalen for checking us
hmm.
out and join in over in. They're gonna get access to potentially win that gift card as well as get the like you said, Discord,
Yep.
after
After
show, all
show.
kinds of stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is exciting. Renee, aka the Goblin Spanker,
Oh,
upgraded to be a top tier patron for the entire year.
what? You can do that?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even know that was a thing.
Hey, you sign up for a year, you get a discount, I guess.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much, Renee. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So now Renee is gonna join that what is that
Oh,
monthly
the
video chat that we do?
bring your own BYOC. Bring your own camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
So our returning top tier patrons are helping us support the show. Renee, aka the Goblin Spanker. I can get used to staying that every week.
I can't. I can't too. Yeah, that's great.
We've got Dan Armendariz,
Mm-hmm.
Luke Schmidt, Chris
Mm-hmm.
from Black Forest Creations, Josh at Freedom Workshop, Corey Duvall, and of course we got Dadu. Dadu. Whew,
Going strong.
it's exciting. Well,
Yeah.
I think we got a lot of the housekeeping stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
Zach, what
Yeah.
have you been working on? What's going on over in up in
Uh,
Toronto?
I spent all day working on my nightstand project that I've been talking about for the last little
Mm,
bit. So I was making some drawers today. You'll be happy to know I got the undermount slides.
yeah,
And it's kind of interesting. Like I'm playing around with them. They're different. The mounting procedure is very different
yeah,
versus conventional slides because
yep,
conventional slides you just take the opening, you subtract an inch,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
make your boxes, right? Whereas the undermounts, I'm trying to figure them out because I'm gonna need to make the drawer faces hang a little bit lower to cover them. And
Yes,
also, you have to have the sides of the boxes come down a little further.
half inch.
Yeah, they had to come down a half inch. You can't just make the drawers flat bottom, which I normally like to do. So it's just kind of
Oh.
adjusting my procedure, figuring things out. They also have these clips that go at the back of the cabinet. Do you use those?
Oh, those are like yeah, it's just like a L-shaped metal piece.
Yeah.
That's if you're using a face frame that allows basically you
Oh,
hook
I see. Yes.
the front of the drawer slide onto the face frame,
Hmm.
and then you don't use any of the screws along the side of the drawer slide, and then you basically attach that L bracket to the back of the cabinet. So like the rest
Okay.
of the drawer slide basically is just floating.
Okay. So, but you don't need to do that if you're screwing it to the side. Because I was looking at it, I was like,
No, 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 no.
this feels like the extended warranty on a TV or something like that. I was like, I don't think I need this. I think I could just
No.
get away with screwing it into the side of the
Oh
cabinet.
yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
it's
what
doing that.
I do, what I find the easiest is
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't
Please.
build the drawer. I
Okay. Well, too
build
late
the
for that.
cat. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say I build like the cabinet or whatever is going in. I put the drawer slides in.
Hmm.
Then I just take a tape measure across the drawer slide,
Uh,
side to side, and now I know how long the front and back pieces need to be. Then
yes.
you just slap the sides on those pieces, and now it fits perfectly in between those slides.
Hmm.
And then you
Hmm.
just do a rabbet for the bottom panel
Yeah.
that's the half inch up, and you're good to go.
The slides that I bought actually came with a little thing. They were like, just measure the opening and then subtract 3/8 of an inch if you're using half-inch plywood.
Oh, where'd you get them from?
I can't remember. I got them off Amazon. I can't remember the name of the company, but they're pretty decent. They're like, you know, they're well made. They're soft close. All blah blah
Okay.
blah. They look like knockoffs of the Bloom ones.
That's what I was gonna ask, because the Bloom ones come with instructions that look like you're trying to send a rocket into orbit.
Yeah. Well, they're German, so that tracks, right?
Right, right. And it's all in metric too, and like I don't have like a metric ruler.
Oh yeah,
I
that
really need to
is.
get one.
Yeah,
Eh,
I just think every set of instructions, if you're gonna like, I don't know, just to have both units. It's not that big of an ask if you're operating at the scale of a company like Bloom. You should have both units.
Right.
It should be, 3/8 of an inch and then bracket whatever that is in millimeters. I don't even know, and I supposedly live in a metric country.
4, maybe
Yeah,
5.
yeah, five. I think six. I think an eighth is 3 millimeters. So yeah, I think six.
I'll take it. I mean, you
I said
you
it.
said it confidently. I believe
Exactly,
it.
exactly. I got my safety vest on and my clipboard in my hand, so you had to believe everything I say and give me
All right.
access to every place.
So you got the drawer slides in. It's a little different. How is the rest of the project going?
Good. Outside of that, so I've got everything all built. I just got to put it together. Oh, I had to do a little bit more finishing. That's what I was doing mostly today. Was sanding and
Okay.
finishing and getting everything all ready. Yeah.
So are you like building it and then adding tech stuff to it after? Or are you kind of adding the tech stuff as you go?
So far, I've only added one tech thing, and I haven't actually even added it yet, but I cut those recessed pockets for the wireless charger that are going to go on the top of it. And you'll be
Okay.
happy to know. So, what I did was I cut a bow tie into the top of the nightstand, a big bow
Ew.
tie.
Really?
Yeah, what? You don't like that?
Oh, I hate bow ties.
Oh, okay, well, whatever, Mr. Fancy
Anyway, but
Pants over here.
proceed.
So I cut a big bow tie into it, and the bow tie is like 6 inches by, let's say, 3 inches.
Okay.
And I got a wireless charging coil that's actually 5 wireless charging coils wide. So
Dang.
anywhere you put your phone on that bow tie, and the bow tie is like essentially the size of a phone, so you got a lot
Right,
of
right.
room. Basically, anywhere you put it on there, it's going to charge your phone. Yeah,
Okay. So I've heard of people doing wireless chargers built into nightstands before, and the biggest issue is how close do you mount the wireless charger? Basically, how thin of piece
yeah,
of wood can you have between the wireless
yes,
charger, the wood of the nightstand, and then your phone?
yeah.
Do they make like super powerful ones now or what?
They do make super powerful ones, but the problem with those ones is they were sealed units. It was essentially like a plastic box that you slap on the underside of your desk, and they're just assuming you have a half-inch thick desk or something
Okay.
like that. So I ended up hogging it out so that there was like 3/16 of material
Okay.
between the bottom of the cabinet and the top of the cabinet where the wireless charger is. And I did a bunch of tests, like even my phone with its case on and everything will charge us perfectly fine.
Okay. Does it charge slower when there's a bigger gap between the charger?
Yes, I think it is a little bit less efficient when there's a bigger gap. But that being said, like this system has 5 coils in it, so I wonder if that alleviates some of that issue as well. Like I don't know if
Huh.
it's firing up all 5 coils. So
Yeah, that would be interesting if it's like if you have 2 coils and your phone is positioned theoretically 50% over each coil, does it just operate one or is it smart enough to turn both on?
exactly, it's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that. Um,
You should test that in your video. It might
yeah.
appease some of the tech people.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think I will add
I
that.
don't know.
And can you
What was I
charge
gonna
more than
say?
one device at a time on it?
That's something I also have to test because my headphones, I have like the Samsung version AirPods,
Okay.
Mm.
and those have a wireless charging coil in them. So it'll be interesting to see if I can charge
Mm.
both at the same time. But in general, wireless charging is slower than cable charging. But on a nightstand, it's like, who cares? You put your phone on
Yeah.
there when you go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, it's charged, and it doesn't matter if it takes, an hour or
6
2
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Right. It's not the, "Oh my gosh, we're going out to dinner in 5 minutes. I need to juice up the phone real quick." That's not
Well,
what you're going for.
Eric, that's why I also have a quick charger built into the nightstand that will juice up my phone from
Ooh.
0 to 80% in like 15 minutes or something like that. I
You
got
know
my
what would
bases
be
covered.
it would be so funny. Do you ever remember, like, as a kid, you'd see, like, the magazine like, the Sharper Image magazines and stuff like
Mhm,
that?
mhm.
And they would have these things called personal massagers on there. I
Oh, yeah.
always remember asking my parents, like, "Is this for your back?" And
Yes,
they're like,
honey. Yes.
"No," or
Oh,
they're
really?
like, I think they were like, "Oh yeah, it's for your back or whatever." It would be so funny if like when you're showing that off and you're like, "Yeah, and then I can plug in our back massager to this," and then just like skate right by in the video.
I actually I have a gag early in the video when I'm doing like the introduction. I'm
Okay.
saying like, there's all these things we put on our nightstands. Like you got your phone, you got a lamp, you got a smart home assistant, you got a clock radio, and then there's all the stuff that you can't show on YouTube. And I want to open my drawer and then just like blur out a big black dildo or something like
Oh,
that.
that'd be so just put like a cucumber in there and then
Yeah,
blur it out.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Or a domino.
Or a domino, yeah.
It's gotta look just absolutely massive.
Yes, exactly. I think I can get away with just putting like a JPEG in there and then having like a really harsh blur over it. I think it'll still
Yeah.
read. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be so funny. That'll be hilarious. You gotta add some humor into something like
Oh,
a
of
like a
course.
nightstand bedroom pro. All right, I'm glad we were on the same page here.
Yeah.
So have you come across any hiccups with that of the
Um,
project in a whole?
Nothing too severe so far. Just a lot of learning with the new drawer slides. I also did a lot of research with LED lighting. So
Oh,
I originally I was just going to get like an off the shelf pair of like an LED strip light from Philips Hue that I've
Philips Hue,
used
yeah,
for a
yeah.
lot of stuff. But then I was like, you know what? Why don't I take this opportunity to take a little bit of more of a DIY approach to it? So I actually got this new kind of LED lighting strip where instead of how most LED lighting strips have individual diodes like every 2 or 3 inches, there's like a little
Yeah,
unit that
depending on the
emits.
density you get.
Yeah, exactly. So I got one where it's actually a flexible strip the whole way through,
Hmm,
and that illuminates. I think, in point of fact, inside that flexible strip is actually just hundreds of very small little diodes,
okay.
but it gives the presentation of one thing, and it's this kind of like new technology that's just kind of coming on the market now.
I don't know
So
what
I
that is.
took. So, uh, is that an FCOB, a flexible chip on
Yeah, it's
board? I
flexible.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just a
yeah.
bunch of little diodes in a line.
Yeah. But you
Now
can't see even like that, Derek, you can't see the individual diodes, right?
No, it just
Yeah.
looks like a solid line.
Yeah, exactly. So
Now, are
that's
those
yeah,
substantially more expensive than you said the Philips Hue was already you would consider that a premium product?
for sure. These are kind of by the time I get all the parts and everything, it'll be about in line with what a Philips Hue
Okay.
costs, but it's going to be much better than what the light you would get from a Philips Hue.
Okay.
And it's so the trade-off is, there's more DIY. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more tinkering, a little bit more wiring up on my own, but I'll get a better light and
Okay.
hopefully a better user experience too.
So,
But
like,
that
how
remains to be
much
seen.
would you, if you had to roughly stab
Yeah,
per
so
nightstand, like $50 worth of LED?
something like that. I it,
Okay.
I bought the strip for $75, and it's a 5 meter strip, so that's enough
Hmm.
to do both. And then I had to get a controller for each nightstand, which was like another 25-30 bucks.
Okay.
And then I had to get some like right angle connectors and stuff like that. It was just like $10. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, about 50-60 bucks a nightstand, something
Okay.
like
That's
that.
not too bad.
Yeah.
Now, are the lights gonna piss Sophie off?
No, I think she'll like them because the whole idea is to replace having a conventional nightstand light. Like,
That makes
how
sense.
everybody has a little lamp on their nightstand?
Yeah. Ours is hideous.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's actually kind of hard to find lamps that are actually nice looking, right? So it's
Right.
like, why even have the lamp on top? Just have the lamp on the backside and project it on the wall.
I love the idea. I'm thrilled to see it. It'll honestly probably be an idea that I steal.
Yeah. I mean, please, by all means.
So you haven't added the lights in. Have you like
No,
built the light strain system yet?
no. It actually just came in the mail
Okay.
when I was in the shop today. So I got home and they were like waiting on my doorstep. So I had to do a
Oh.
little bit of have a little bit of fun with that. But they go on the backside, so basically I can complete the entire cabinet and then just do those afterwards.
And even if it's a little not super super clean, you're never really gonna see it anyway.
Nobody's ever gonna see it.
Yeah, that's
It's
good. That's
all
good.
all going to be very selectively filmed. Get
Of
just the right
course.
angle.
Same with it if, like, you end up, like, destroying a corner of something or, like, you put finish on it and then you smudge the finish, you're like, "Ah, I gotta redo that." You're like, "I'm gonna film this B-roll so you
Yeah.
can't see it, and I will fix it after the video's out."
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I know one of the things you were concerned about was how you're gonna do, like, the green match, like, miters all the way
Yeah.
around. How did you end up cutting those?
So I ended up cutting them on the table saw. I took your advice.
Okay.
So I cut them first with a track saw into squares,
Yes.
and then I flipped over to the table saw and then cut the miters on the table saw, and
Yeah.
it worked really well. I would say it turned out better in terms of fit and finish than I expected. I thought I was going to have to like massage the corners a little bit to get everything to line up, but it just went together first try beautifully. So
Nice.
very
It's
happy about that.
amazing. Like, I think you think that the miter saw, when you angle it or whatever, you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be right at 45." It
It's
does
not.
move a little bit.
Yeah, especially miter saws, like, and depending on the arm system, as you know from your rigid saw,
Oh god, don't get me
the
started.
quality of the saw factors into it, and then the alignment of the fence and the
Mhm.
actual blade itself comes into play. And not every saw is perfectly 90 degrees, so all those things add up. And I was like, you know what? I trust my table saw more. I spent
Right.
more time aligning my table saw than I have my miter saw, and it worked out good.
Yeah. It just takes a little micro adjusting, like just sneaking up on that bevel to get it just in the right spot, and then you get
Exactly.
just that razor sharp miter on it.
I actually cut my hand in
I
several
believe it.
places because the miter was so sharp.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then I did biscuits in all the corners to help kind of stabilize everything.
Ooh. Did you get the DeWalt, cordless biscuit joiner?
I did. I actually really like that thing.
It's nice, huh?
I don't I mean, it's kind of dumb that it's cordless. I Because you don't really, well, I mean, I don't know. It is convenient not having a cable, but it's one of the last tools I would ever get the cordless version of. But it's just a really nice biscuit jointer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it just works well.
I wanna get a biscuit joiner and just mess around with it, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I already have the domino, it just seems like it's redundant.
Yeah, the nice thing about biscuits is they're smaller and cheaper, but realistically, like for somebody with a domino, like if you were when you did your dining table, did you domino every piece of the top of that together?
I did just because it makes the alignment much
Sure.
easier when you're
Yeah.
doing a glue up that's big,
Yeah.
that's that big. Actually,
Yeah.
on the media console the floating one that I built a while ago, the video's still not out yet,
Mhm.
just to troll people and piss people off, when I was gluing that panel up, I literally did a domino, like, every 2 inches. I think they're, like, 40, 40 or 45 dominoes across the entire
That must
panel.
have been so expensive for you though. Isn't that like that's got to be like $20 worth of dominoes?
Yeah, I don't know. It would definitely was at least 10 or 15 bucks worth of dominoes, but it was more of just a shot at the trolls to see if people
Yeah.
get mad about it.
Oh, totally, totally. I mean,
I
you
bet
you
that
got
was
to
a
take the
nice
shots to
crispy
kill 'em.
joint.
Oh, yeah, the joint was great. Super good.
It's not
Uh,
going anywhere.
no. But
Yeah.
okay, so you got it together with the biscuits and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Got
Did you
together
do
with
the
biscuits.
tape thing to, like, wrap the miters, or
I
did
didn't
you
actually have to. So what I did is I have a back panel that's made out of plywood in it.
Okay.
And so I did a dado the whole way around, and then
Ooh.
I like basically folded all the pieces onto that piece of plywood. So it was kind of
Oh.
like, yeah,
And that helps keep things square too.
yeah, helped keep things square. I had this crazy clamp set up with like, I did like a cube of clamps
Right,
essentially, and just did it
right.
all in one shot, and it worked really well.
Look at
Lovely.
this guy, Derek. He's woodworking. He's using terms like dado. I don't even
Yeah, I know.
recognize this guy.
No. It's crazy the transformation that happens to me when I spend a few weeks in the shop.
So now after, doing some woodworking stuff, are you like, man, I want to get back to 3D printing?
Kinda, yeah, kinda.
That's fine.
I
Like,
think I'm going to try and maybe alternate, like, if I can, we'll see if this actually works out this way, but do like one woodworking project, one kind of 3D printing techie project, and keep going
yeah.
back and forth. The problem is though, things that I actually need around the house or want around the
Dude,
house,
you're
right?
telling
So,
me.
I know. Preaches the choir, right? So,
Yeah. I know a lot of people that literally just build stuff and just give it away.
yeah, I might have to start doing stuff like that.
I wonder if there's a way that you could do like I'm making this up, right? You build another retro console and you're like, I don't need this damn thing. Do
Yeah.
you give it away to patrons?
Yeah, that's an idea too. That's definitely a very good idea. I have so many effing people emailing me like, "Hey, can you make me one of these console things?" And so they're
I
like, I don't care. Like, I'll pay whatever it costs." It's like I just don't have any interest in it. It's
right. I don't I you made it once, you don't want to make it again.
exactly,
This gets
exactly.
into our whole discussion we've had before of like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is why we don't do production work cuz once we
yeah.
make something, we never want to touch it again.
That's so true. That's so true.
I get people that ask me I got a couple cuz my chessboard video is blowing up again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I get
Then
people
not
ask the old
I
one
was
from
Not
like
the
2
new
the
one.
years
old
ago.
one, yeah, not the new one, because
Okay.
the new one's not even out yet. The new one will be out in
No.
2 years. Yeah. Okay.
New one will be out, you know, in 4 presidential election cycles. Um, I had 3 people today say, "Hey, can you not even can I buy that? Oh, I've started watching your channel, really enjoy it." I'm like, "Oh, thanks so much, you know." They're like, "Can you send me that chessboard?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yes.
They're like, "Well, my like one guy was like, "My birthday is coming up. It'd be great if you'd sent me the chessboard." I go, "It's been in the with the client for 2 years. I can't just steal it from them."
Isn't that like a central? I haven't seen that video in a while, but you talk about how it's for somebody in the video, right?
Right, and I tell them how the client made an awful choice on the router bit.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that really pissed people off too.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, people are like, that is not a way to conduct business. You do not talk about your clients like that." It's like, the client was one of my buddies. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, "Dude, this
Oh.
is a horrible choice. This is hideous." She goes, "That's what I want."
All right.
Roman OG. Ugh. But yeah.
Okay? I gotta look that up. That's the profile of the bit.
Roman OG
Yeah.
bit. It looks like something you would see at someone's grandmother's house.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. I know
recognize it
that
when you
shape.
see it.
It's kind of like a
Yeah.
bell shape, like
Yeah,
an
it's not
inverted
good.
bell.
It is not good. That should
Well,
be everyone's New Year's resolution, is to get
no
rid
more
of the Roman OG.
Minoji. Yeah, yeah.
Did you make any New Year's resolutions this year?
No, I didn't. You know what? I'm not big on the New Year's resolutions because A, nobody keeps them.
That's, you're not wrong. You're not
And B,
wrong.
it feels so forced. Like if I'm a big believer that if you were going to make a change in your life, you shouldn't like be like, I'm gonna do it in a month. Because if you push it off a
Right.
month, you're just never gonna do it.
Right.
You're always gonna be kicking the can down the road. So if there's something you want to change about your life, just start doing it today.
I, that's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah, true.
Don't wait a
True.
month. Get off
Just
your
do it
ass
today.
and do it today.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So I'm the same way. I'm not a huge New Year's resolution like person. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
Like mine are more broad and general. Like the one
Mm.
that we were like, you know what we should do this year? We should make a conscious effort to eat just more vegetables.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
a good one.
that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not making any sort of monumental life shift, but like
Hmm.
I don't think anyone can argue that, eating a little bit more vegetables is better for you. So that's
I'll
ours.
give you I'll give you another one that's unarguable. And I think this is a resolution I made in previous years, but then abandoned. Stretch more.
Oh,
Good one.
Would anybody ever like there's you can't talk shit about there's the explicit. You
no.
can't talk shit about stretching. Like it's
I don't know.
it's
There are probably
universal. It's
some
great for you.
anti-stretchacists out there.
You think so? I mean there's somebody out there for everything, so you're probably right, but it can't be that many people.
I feel like I made that resolution many, many years ago, and it lasted for a couple days, and you're like, I'm not getting on the floor. I'm too old to get on the floor.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It's
but
all the years of
honestly,
not
though,
stretching. I know, that's true. That's true. I think I stretched religiously for like 2 months or something like that. And I was like, I'm not any more flexible. If I have to put more than 2 months into it to see any results whatsoever, I'm not interested.
What do you need to be more flexible for?
I don't know, doing the splits. Yeah, it's a great question. Why do you need to be more flexible?
But as a mid-30s male, when have you ever gotten in the situation when you're in a jam and you're like,
Yeah,
"Man, if I could do the splits, this would really get me out of this right
I
now."
know, I know. Have you ever been like laying on the couch or maybe laying in bed and you reach for something that's a little bit outside of your grasp and you kind of get like a weird muscle pain or you lock
Oh,
up a little bit?
Yo, yeah. You
Yeah, so
throw your
that
back
would
out.
be the main thing that I would be looking for stretching to alleviate.
Yeah.
I
I
tell
could
you where
see
doing
that.
the splits pays off.
Okay.
You
OnlyFans.
can get a payoff on the splits. Well, no, if you're in a John Claude Van Damme lookalike contest.
Oh, yes, 100%.
I hate to say, I know the reference. I don't even know what this guy looks like.
I I know him exclusively as the guy who did the splits between two semi trucks.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
see the he's from Belgium, huh?
yeah. I mean, Van Damme.
The
It's not
muscles from
a
Brussels.
Okay. 5'10". How come all these guys that are in movies are known for just being like jacked back in the day or always super short, like
so
Arnold
true.
Schwarzenegger,
Oh,
Chuck Norris?
Is Arnold
Arnold's like
short?
6 foot.
No, I
He's
thought
tall.
Arnold was like five something.
Hold
No,
on,
he's tall.
I'm gonna look this up. Schwarzenegger height. They always lie though. Wow, what
Oh, it
is
says
one
he's
point?
6'2".
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, okay. I mean, Tom
Sylvester
Cruise.
Stallone is 5'10". Maybe that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah, that I could see.
And Ronnie Coleman is 5'11". Like, okay.
Or like Tom Cruise is like 4'3".
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
I watched The Green Mile recently,
Oh,
Oh,
good
and
movie.
Michael Clark Duncan was a huge guy,
oh yeah.
but they also shoot the movie in such a way that, like, I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4" or something like that, and just ripped out
Six
of his mind.
five.
6'5", but they shoot it in a way that he looks 7 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
They have him like, they have him standing next to Tom Hanks, and he'll be standing on an apple box or something like that.
That guy was absolutely massive. Like, how does that guy fit through a door?
I don't know. Great question. He died, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
think.
man, he died a while ago, 2012.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
That's too bad.
lung cancer or something.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, I
I
don't
thought
know.
it was a heart thing.
I don't know.
I don't
They
know.
say short people live longer because their hearts don't have to beat as hard. It's less work to pump the blood around your whole circulatory system.
That makes
I'm
sense.
officially changing my height to 5 foot.
I'm going to identify as a 5-footer. Well,
Well,
somebody wanted to officially say that the podcast is a 5 out of 5.
oh, yeah,
No.
5-star review. Nothing makes
You
me
got a
happier.
5-star review, baby. And speaking of hearts, they
Let's
said
hear
that
it.
the podcast lowered their blood pressure by 50.
Is that good?
I don't know.
Do you know how blood pressure works? I was talking about this with a friend of mine.
I'm
You can get two numbers.
Yeah. So I think one of them is like the force that your heart ejects the blood
Mm-hmm.
from the holes in your heart. I'm not a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, people. And the other is the force that the blood returns back into the other side. Am I anywhere near being right?
I don't know. It was a legitimate question because I have no idea. I'm just curious. People say like people say lowered my blood pressure by 50 points. I was like, is that a good thing, or is that like,
Okay.
do we
Okay.
take this guy to the brink of death?
Okay, so blood pressure is the force of blood pushing against the artery walls.
Okay.
The force is generated with each heartbeat as blood is pumped from the heart into the blood vessels. The size and elasticity of the artery walls also affects blood pressure.
Okay, so hold on. Blood pressure is recorded as two numbers, such as 120/80.
Yes.
The larger number is the pressure in the arteries as the heart pumps out blood during each beat. So you're right. The lower number is the pressure as the heart relaxes before the next beat. So it's like peak and trough, which makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Well, speaking of this, I actually had to get my blood pressure taken yesterday,
Oh,
dude. And I had the weirdest thing happen. So what is it? I don't know if I told you. I could tell you guys about my finger.
No.
No.
we talked
Okay.
about your nail a couple podcasts ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, is
So
that what
other
you did to your
hand,
finger?
I saw I we you know we a week or two ago we went skiing on the bachelor party or whatever. I get back to our place and my buddy goes, "Dude, what happened to your hand?"
Oh,
And so I'm like looking like, oh, like did I like, cut myself on something or whatever. And I'm like, where? What? He goes, your finger. And I'm like, which one? Because I had no signs of like trauma or pain or anything, right?
yeah.
And my finger, so let's see if this comes up, is like literally
Oh,
turned
No, it's
like
bruised.
purple. Yeah, down.
holy, that just
Looks like I just got an absolutely insane bruise,
yeah.
swollen like crazy. And my buddy's like, dude, you probably shattered your finger. I'm like, but like I can move it, no problem, no pain, zero whatsoever.
Hmm.
Strangest thing in the world. And that
Do you
got
have like
go ahead.
pins and needles or anything?
No.
Whoa.
So, it ended up going away like 2 or 3 days later. So I was like, I don't know.
This is the best part about being a guy, by the way. Like, anytime something's wrong with my body, I'm like, I can give it a week and see what happens.
Right.
I'm
And
sure
Sophie's
on
like,
it.
no, you gotta go to the doctor right now. I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'm just gonna wait and see.
Oh, I told the guys, I was like, none of you guys are going to tell Mandy that this happened because if it did, she'd be like, come home now or like call 911, call the president of the United States.
For everybody who's listening at home, Eric's finger looked like an eggplant, and he was just like, "It's fine. I'll just leave it."
Literally purple, like purple, black, green, all of the colors. It was like my middle finger was like bigger than my big toe. It was so big. Like if I would go to close my hand, my finger just like it was up like another like inch or two. It was
Oh
so
wow.
fat and swollen. But anyway, so it went off like it ended up returning to normal like 2, 3 days later. So I was like, it's
Hmm.
fine. Then I was at the gym and I was actually telling the story to one of my buddies at the gym. And then he's like, wait, yeah, your finger looks fine now. I was like, I know, that's the wild thing. I did a little bit of workout and then I was just, shooting shit with him later or whatever. And he goes, dude, your finger. I'm like, what? It came back.
Wow. Was it like a full moon thing, or maybe you have like a wear finger?
Bang your finger on something?
That's the thing. I didn't. And I'm like not trying to be the hard ass. Literally zero pain. I have
Huh.
no idea what's going on.
Wow.
So Miranda's like, you need to go to the doctor. And I was like, I'll be fine. Right.
Yeah.
So then several more days passed and it's like still kind of swollen. So I ended up going you know, to the doctor or whatever, get in. And the guy's
Mhm.
doing all this tests, and this guy's just so perplexed. He's like, I have never seen this before. He goes, you're in no pain. He was doing all these tests. He's like, push on my finger, squeeze this, squeeze this. And I was like, I'm telling you, there was zero pain. And he was like,
Yeah.
all right, close your eyes. I'm gonna like, do like a feather on your finger. So I was like, yeah, I can feel it. Like I feel everything. It's not normal. And he goes, the only thing I can think of is you just like burst a blood vessel, and it's just like I don't
Wild.
know. He goes, we don't need to do any imaging because it's like it's clearly not broken. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
So
They took my blood pressure there. I was good though.
has it come back since?
It's it's moderately
Yeah, it looks a little
like
purple.
it's a
Looks like a
little
Yeah.
purple, but yeah,
Shaded.
huh.
I don't know.
I was
Marvel.
my initial theory was that maybe it was something to do with the cold because you're out snowboarding, but then if it happened at
That's
the
what I thought
gym,
too.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So
Wild.
I
You didn't
paid
get horny for a lot as a
$25
kid, did you?
copay and they didn't do a damn thing.
This is the other part of why I never go to the doctor is Palsy. 99% of doctor visits, you can guess what the outcome is going to be. Like, for
Just
instance,
rest.
my buddy twisted his
Right.
ankle playing ball hockey. Went to the doctor. I was like, doctor is going to tell you to ice it and stay off it for a couple days. I
Right.
was like, boom, I just saved you a trip to the emergency room. He's like, but still, I should probably go anyways.
He
I'm like,
went to the emergency room?
yes. Yeah, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that so? I know Canadian healthcare, and we don't
Canadian
need to go
healthcare.
down that whole thing.
Oh,
But like,
yeah.
if you actually want taken care of, you just basically have to go to the emergency room.
Yeah. It's
Dear
like
God.
it's kind of like it becomes this like sorting area. It's like the first entry point to a hospital, kind of. If
Top
you
of the
need to
funnel.
top of the exactly. The
Okay.
emergency room is top of the funnel in Canadian healthcare. Which is not the way it should be done, but it is. When you
You
don't have
guys
to
call
pay for anything out of pocket.
911 if you have a slight cold.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that is a hack that a lot of people use to get, because the lines in emergency rooms here are ridiculous. You can wait 6 to 8 hours in line at the emergency
Oh,
room, no
jeez.
problem. But if you arrive in an ambulance, they'll take you
Get
right
right
away.
in.
So a lot of people will then call ambulances for minor things so that they can bypass the line at the hospital.
They don't get fined or anything for that?
You have to pay, but it's not that much. It's like it's I think $200 for an ambulance ride or something like that. And when you balance that against waiting in the emergency room for 8 hours, it's like, oh, okay, maybe
That's
it's kind of
fair.
worth it.
So, like, if you like your buddy twists his ankle or whatever, goes in the
Yeah.
emergency room, did he have to pay any money to get seen?
No.
Huh. See, that
Yeah,
is a benefit.
yeah.
That would have been
It-
like thousands of dollars here.
But you pay. Yeah, that's true. But you pay in your time is the annoying thing.
True. Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Well, anyway, so the review that
Yeah.
we should just call this podcast the Tangent Podcast. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
definitely.
It's still better than Green Suitors, available on Apple and Spotify.
I noticed you missed the available on Apple and Spotify earlier when you said that the Green Suited podcast sucks. So
Well,
I'm
it
glad
does
you got
suck.
it in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people
but
know that
it's
it
still
sucks.
available on Apple and Spotify. And all.
Yeah, if you want to
It's
listen
been
to
hits.
hot trash, that's where it's at.
They've been hitting us hard. We deserve. We owe them a few.
I know.
Yeah.
I even did Jason a solid. And
What
we
did you do for
still-
Jason?
I hooked him up with the brand,
Oh.
but she hasn't responded to him, and he's really pissed off about it. So, in all fairness, she hasn't responded to me either. But Drew Witt, if you're listening to this,
You hook
tell
him
her
up?
to respond to my damn email because I set you up with her too, man.
Oh.
I should get like a finder's fee for this, right? Like
Yeah,
a
you should. Yeah.
affiliate commission on brand partnerships.
right.
Yeah. You should. I mean, you're basically an agent at that point. You should get
That's
20
what
points.
I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get Mark's percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, podcast review. This one comes from Sideburns85. Do you think this
Oh,
is
good name.
a guy
Solid name.
from Billy Madison?
Yeah, I do. I do actually.
Okay. Sideburns85 says, lowered my blood pressure by 50. For everybody, that was where we got the blood pressure tangent. If
back
not for Off the Cut podcast, I would probably be dead. Who would have thought that becoming a seltzer expert, cold hot dog activist, and knowing that my cheap shampoo is normal could be so life-changing? Well, it's not. But in a world of anti-miter saw propaganda, these two shine bright like a diamond. I could not say it better myself. Couldn't
That
say it
is a
better myself.
glowing review. That is the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me.
So if you don't want to go to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast and financially support us, leave a review. It costs you nothing. And if it's you make it 5 stars, we'll read it. Get your name on the podcast.
That's right.
Well, let's see. I had a question from somebody.
Yeah, you mentioned this in the pre-show.
Yeah, they're been messaging back and forth a little bit. And this is a classic example of when someone sends me a message and I want to respond in a meaningful way to actually provide value. And I was basically like, listen, we were talking before and he listens to the podcast. I was like, I cannot provide you insightful commentary over a text message. So I'm going to do this over the podcast. So this is a one from Biscuit Tree Woodworks. And it says, "Hey, Eric, just started listening to Off the Cut podcast. Green Suitor sucks. I'm really starting off on a good
Yeah.
spot.
Knows
Solid.
how to get on our good side.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it and picking up some great tips from you guys."
Nice.
I don't know what podcast he's listening to.
He must have us confused, but let him keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. I appreciate the flattery. You mentioned that you just changed your website from Squarespace to Shopify. I'm using Squarespace and want to start selling plans for some of my builds. I did a free trial on Shopify and was pretty unimpressed with it. Seemed like everything I tried to do required me to subscribe to another app. So on Shopify, apps are basically like plugins, if you
Sure.
will.
Yeah.
For $10 to $20 per month. I just starting this up and can't afford to be nickel and dime to death. I get that.
That's fair.
How did you have a bunch of apps on your website? Any tips or suggestions? I don't know if you've already done this, but I'd love to hear. Okay. We'll answer the first question first. So,
Okay.
Zach, you're on Squarespace.
Yeah. Technically.
So, is your Zach Builds website, is that a Squarespace?
No, that's a WordPress site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
So
I
your
also don't have any.
Squarespace site is
My-
the podcast one.
Yes, which I don't think we've updated. I'm pretty sure if you go on the podcast website, it's like it has the first 3 episodes listed and then nothing else.
Well, it's because you had to do it for an ad read.
That's right. That's right. I
Right.
got paid to plug a product and the show at the same time.
Right.
I felt
That
like
was
that was a big win
genius.
at the time. Yeah, thank you.
If I ever do like a Shopify one, I'm gonna like basically just plug all of my products and like how I sell the stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of those great things. So, okay, yeah, so I don't feel like I can comment very, I don't know, authoritatively on this
Okay.
question. But
Okay.
so let me turn the lens back on you.
Okay.
How many plugins do you have on your store to do it, or apps?
So I have Shopify. I'll pull it up right now. I can
Yeah.
tell you I do not have any that are paid for. I do
Okay.
not pay for any additional apps.
So technically, in order to sell plans on your Shopify store, there should be no reason that he would need to use a third-party app.
Correct. So
Okay.
there's an app called Digital Downloads. It is made by Shopify. It is 100% for free. So
Okay.
basically, when you add a product to your store, you just mark that it's a digital download, and then under the digital download app, it'll be like miter saw stand. You
Mhm.
go to the digital download app, you upload the miter saw stand file there. Then when anybody buys the miter saw stand plans, not only can they instantly download it from your website as soon as they check out, but they also get an email with the files as well.
Okay, so it's like product fulfillment for digital files, essentially.
Right. So it's
And is that
100% free.
the way that normally works? The first party apps from Shopify are free, and then the paid ones are third party?
Yeah, I could be wrong that they might have ones made by Shopify that are not free,
Okay.
but I have not run across any.
Okay.
So the idea of like these apps on Shopify is like, say you want to have like product reviews, you can download these apps so that all this stuff naturally integrates. Or if you want, the ability for customers to upload their own photos of like, say you run a clothing company and you want to upload like your own photos of people wearing your clothes and stuff like that. That would be like an app that you would
Yes.
add to your store.
Yeah.
I don't use any that are paid. So the apps that I have are Digital Download, which basically allows, like I said, you to download those things for free. One called Search and Discovery, which basically allows people to filter. So if you like go on my website, you might be able to do a drop down and be like, oh, I want to filter it by different classifications or categories or whatever.
Mhm.
And then email. Um, so that's, if somebody signs up for your newsletter, it's just all integrated in Shopify. I don't have to go to like
Gotcha.
MailChimp or anything like that.
Oh,
Um,
so Shopify handles your entire email list for you?
right, right.
Okay, okay.
Which is nice because
Yeah.
they have these like automated campaigns you can set up, like abandoned cart things. So like if somebody
Yep.
comes to your website, they add it in your cart, and then they haven't got an email from you in the last week or two, it'll be like, hey, we noticed that this plan is in your cart, like,
Hmm,
stuff like that.
cool. Um, what was I good? Do you have access to that email list? Like theoretically, say 3 years down the road, you're like, I don't like Shopify anymore. I'm going somewhere else. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, it's all
export?
yours.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you
Cool.
just download the data as a CSV. So what I'm imagining is that they're trying to make Shopify a website that it's not.
Mm,
Shopify is 100% designed for e-commerce.
yes.
Squarespace has e-commerce capability, but
Yeah.
it's more of a portfolio
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
showing things off. Like if you want to have tons of photos and videos,
Yeah.
Squarespace. Don't use Shopify.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
would say if what's your primary focus? Is your primary focus selling things? Then Shopify. Is your primary
absolutely.
focus showing off your work, or maybe I don't even know. You could use Squarespace for like a blog or something like that, but
It's not great.
it's not great. It's definitely substandard to something like WordPress
Oh, for
for
sure.
a blog. So it's different tools for different jobs, I would say, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right. But I trust me, I totally understand the feel like you know, you just get started, you don't be nickel and dime to death.
Oh yeah.
I remember looking, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is $5, $10 a month for a website." I was like, "I can't afford this." Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that to be funny, like, I genuinely get it when I started that.
I remember I still am to some degree, but a serious cheap ass when I
Oh,
started my
yeah.
content creation journey. Like I wouldn't pay for anything because when you're not making any money, it's really hard to justify the added
Right.
expense of these things. You're paying
$75 a month for Adobe when you're losing money.
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's a
Like
lot of money.
yeah, yeah. It's like I gotta pay for materials and I gotta pay for Adobe and I gotta pay for Squarespace. It's like, oh, it all like adds up so quickly.
Right,
So,
right. But if you're looking to just do plans, go Shopify and get that digital download app. But if you're looking to like post tons of videos on your website,
yeah.
it's not it's not going to be easy to do it with Shopify. I spent forever looking at those apps trying to find like a photo gallery app that I liked on Shopify, and like he said, they're all like $10, $20 a month. And tried the free trial and I was like, these are clunky. Like they don't look good.
Yeah.
So I just basically abandoned that. And my website is a hub to buy things. Like,
It's essentially just an online store at this
right.
point, right? There's not you don't have blog posts anymore or anything on there, do you?
No, because I
Yeah.
analyze all the traffic and 80 to 90% were going to tools I used
Mhm.
in my store.
Mhm.
And any other traffic was people clicked on like a project post and then immediately would click the plans for that project. So they're basically using that as a directory to get them to the plans.
Yes, yeah.
So I found that for me particularly, this isn't for everyone, all of my website traffic was going to buy things. So I was like, why don't I just save myself the hassle and just make this easier for everyone? And I've
Yeah.
noticed a dramatic increase in sales since I've switched over to a purely store based website.
Yeah, well, I would imagine it's just so much less friction
Right.
between the end
Right.
user and what they wanna get, right? So
Right.
somebody goes to your website and they want to buy a set of plans from you and they had to first go to the blog post, read the whole
Right.
story about how you made that thing and then
Right.
find the link to the store to buy it, or it's just right there at the front of the page. It's that
Right.
much easier.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my summary of the Square or Shopify Squarespace thing. The follow-up question was, I don't know if you guys have already done this, but I'd love to hear you guys talk about email lists / campaigns on the
Mhm.
podcast. I just
Yeah.
started collecting emails because I've heard from so many people the emails are very valuable for their business. Do you guys have any advice / experience to share?
So I'll come out right now and out myself as a emailless virgin. I've never actually tried
No,
to.
really?
Yeah, I've never actually. I've. It's one of those things that I've kind of had on my to-do list for a long time.
Okay.
I always kind of figured I would integrate it into doing a website overhaul. I would do the email list at the same time that I redo my
Yeah.
website, and yeah, I've just been I've been pretty bad about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, yeah, but I mean, I do recognize that it is obviously a very powerful tool, especially for a creator on YouTube, because I think you can drive a lot of traffic to
Yeah.
your videos, and potentially not even just I have a video coming out this week and I want to drive traffic to it, but if you have a massive email list, you could drive traffic to an old video.
Right.
Like, say you don't have it, you have a weekly newsletter. It's like, oh, I don't really have much to talk about this week. I'll just throw an old email in there, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it is a very powerful tool that creators should get on board with. And yeah, you hear about some of these guys like, I have an email list that's got 500,000 people on it or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I started growing an email list just because I heard people say you were supposed to do it.
yeah.
Um, I had no idea what I was doing with it, so I was like, why don't I just start? I have to
Mhm.
start somewhere. I can't do an email campaign if I have no one on my list. So I was like, I will just start collecting emails. And it could be as simple as put something in your website checkout that says, I click here if you would like to be, subscribed to future news and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You'll pick up a couple here and there.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for, I don't know, 2 3 years, and I have 13,920, which I feel
Yeah.
like that's
Pretty
pretty
good.
good.
I
I
think
don't
the way to
know.
turbocharge it is to do those giveaways, right?
Oh yeah, I got like 2 or 3,000 from that last giveaway that I
Yeah.
did.
And that was for a relatively low value item, right? Like I
It
think
was like $150 or something.
and I think probably, 2 to 3,000 email addresses probably worth that to you to your
Yeah,
business, right?
right,
Like
right.
yeah, so that's something to think about. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
So
There's your excuse to remake one of your consoles to do a giveaway with.
I know, well, totally, yeah, and we just like we were talking about earlier, it's like, what are we gonna do with all this damn furniture we keep building? It's like, well, you
right,
give it away in exchange for email addresses.
right. And
So,
especially if you use like that Gleam
yeah,
service that does all that stuff for you, collects all the info, like it works out pretty nice. I mean,
yeah,
my suggestion would be start an email list, even if you don't know what to do with it. Just
yeah.
start collecting the information and you can figure it out later.
Actually, I
Um,
would say do what you're saying, but come up with some sort of cohesive plan before you start
okay.
actually utilizing it, because I do worry that if you get this reputation for just spamming people with useless emails,
Yeah.
it's people are going to then associate you with the guy who spams them all the time, that and the value of your emails is going to drop to zero and they're never going to get opened. So have like
Yeah.
some sort of idea, but definitely start building a list. Like I would
And
I would start building my list months in advance of actually sending anything out.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The perfect example I give is don't be Old Navy, Gap, or Bath and Body Works.
Yes.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You signed up one time to get that coupon, and they send you, no joke, 4 emails a day.
Yeah.
There's no value coming there, and you just get pissed off when it shows up in your email box.
Yes.
I send like 6 emails a year.
Yeah, you know what's funny about your emails too is you have it configured so that it says the person's first name at the start of the email. Because I
Oh
get them
yeah,
all
I
the
don't know
time.
if Shopify does that now, but
Oh, interesting. Well, your old ones used to, because it would always say, "Hey, Zachary," and I'd be like, "Why is Eric calling me by full name?" And I was like, "Oh, it's because I'm on his email newsletter."
right. Yeah, and mine would basically be like when a new video came out, I would send out like an email like a week or 2 after it came out, or just like,
Mm,
"Hey, I'm running a huge sale, like all plans are 50% off," or like something like
yep.
that. And
Yeah.
it's nuts. I mean, you can drive a lot of sales from something like that, but
Yeah.
I was always I always felt hesitant of whether or not I was providing value. And there would be some emails I'd write, and I was just like, no, I'm not sending that out.
Yeah.
Because you
I
have a
think
lot of power with the email list, and you can't abuse it.
yes. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I think I would almost want to hire. I would want to do what I hope Jonathan doesn't mind us saying this, but Jonathan has a newsletter writer that he
Yeah,
hired to do all of his emails.
yeah.
He
And
doesn't
I
write them.
yeah, he doesn't write them personally. I mean, I'm sure he still has some input on them, but he's hired a professional to
Yeah,
do a lot of it.
Right.
And I would almost want to do something like that because I think
just
if you're gonna,
offload it.
yeah, well, offload it, but like you know,
Ghostwriter.
have somebody be able to really like sit down and spend the time to think about the most effective email to really return value because it is a full-time job essentially if
Yeah.
you're going to do like a weekly email.
Oh my God. I mean, just think of like how much time do you and I put in YouTube videos and stuff like that. Imagine
Yeah,
if we put that much time, effort, and thought into an email.
yeah, exactly.
Like you can
Yeah,
return a lot of, get a lot of return on investment.
for sure.
So in summary, start an email list even if you don't know what to do with it, but then have a plan. Don't spam people.
Yeah.
And we're in the day now, or at least I am. If I get an email and I get no value from it, I'm instantly unsubscribing.
A lot of
Mhm.
time when you're sitting in a doctor's office or you're sitting at the DMV waiting to be called up, I'll just sit there in my inbox and like unsubscribe to
Right.
BS
Yep.
emails.
You want your email to be like a YouTube video that somebody goes,
Yeah,
"Ooh,
that's a great way to put it. That's a great way to
what's
put it.
this from Zach?
Yeah,
Haven't gotten an email from him in a while.
yeah.
I'm intrigued."
hmm
Yeah.
People should want to open your email, which
Right.
is hard to do. That would be extremely hard to do. 99% of these big companies can't even figure out how to do it.
No, no. And if you want to start collecting people's email, you can't just be like, "Hey, give me your email." And checkout, some people might be interested in what you're doing, but offer them something. Like
Yeah,
I think on my website, I'm like, "Hey, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I'll give you 10% off."
easy, done.
Right.
Yeah,
And especially because it's for digital products only, so it costs me nothing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
that brings up a question I got for you guys.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you gotten on like Facebook or Instagram or anything where somebody writes at everybody and then a message to everybody that's in that specific group or what have you, and then you receive it?
No,
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
only
there's
in.
some groups I'm in it, and I get that, and they'll start it with at everybody, and apparently that sends the message out to everybody within that particular group, or like
Oh,
Facebook has groups.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big Facebook user,
No.
but I've never been in a group where anybody's done that before.
Yeah, I
Let's
just noticed it recently.
we'll start a test group after the show. We'll make like a
Yeah.
group with the three of us in it, and then see.
Hmm. That's interesting.
hmm
I didn't know.
That'd be
So,
a good. Uh, there might be some value. I know some creators have like Facebook groups that
Hmm.
they create in order to
Or
either about
Instagram groups.
or Instagram groups. Yeah, something. I guess that's what the whole broadcast channel is on
That's what it is. Yeah,
Instagram.
broadcast channels.
that would annoy
Nobody
the shit
uses
out of me.
those. Yeah, and Bailey said in the chat right now, you see it a lot on Discord groups too. That's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
So that just puts it up in front of the people. That's like a hack or whatever, a shortcut to put your
Yeah,
message at the top, I guess.
true, true.
I still don't even know what a broadcast group is. They always ask me to create one, and I'm just like, no.
No, thank you. Not interested.
Another useless Instagram feature to take
Mhm.
time away from doing something that actually makes me money.
So true. So true.
Derek, you said that we had a question submitted for the podcast, right?
Yeah. If y'all want to go ahead and answer that here and not in the after show, we can do that.
Oh yeah, we'll answer it because they might
Yeah.
not be a patron.
Yeah, let's do a
Oh, I
quick one.
dropped it. I dropped it in the spreadsheet or the
And the
question sheet for you.
questions.
Is that the last one?
Ooh. Okay.
You got it? Okay.
This is from Dom from M Inspired Living.
Oh.
He, he, he said, who would win a steel cage tag team match between For the Gram and Off the Cut?
Oh.
don't
There is
know.
three of us. There is three of us. I've met Vic and Dom in real life, and they're both big, strong guys.
Yeah.
We have height on them, though. We definitely have reach.
But Dom's old.
True. True.
I mean, he is 70s and 80s music. He's pouring epoxy all over cassette tapes. Like, how old is this guy? How does he even figure out how to get on Instagram and send us questions?
We can
You
settle
know
this
what?
workbench con.
Yeah, it's true. We could settle.
I don't think they're going.
Oh, we should
Oh, are
ask
they
them.
not?
I think they stopped go. That's where I first met both of them. Was the first time I went to Workbench.
Yeah.
I think we would. I think we'd have them on reach. They couldn't even hit us. We could just stand back and utilize our long arms.
Yeah, we do have very long appendages.
We're
And
like-
I mean arms and legs. Good Lord. Oh, I think we could win. We got 3 people. We got the height,
That's true.
but they've got age. They've got
They've
age.
got experience. They've got experience.
Yeah. And I think they both have better voices than the two of us.
That's true. That's unarguable.
For
But that
sure.
doesn't really get you much in a cage match.
Yeah. I don't know, but Dom could sing. Dom's a huge singer.
Yeah, fair. Beautiful voice. Voice of an
Well.
angel, some say.
Yeah, I've gotten people that will like leave comments or whatever, and they're like, "Your voice is so soothing." I was like, "Really?" I feel like my
Nice.
voice is very abrasive and obnoxious.
I mean, hey, look, take a compliment.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think we probably all feel that same way about ourselves.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. And everybody hates their own voice because you hear it differently
Yeah.
in your own head, and then you hear it
Right.
recorded, and you're like, "Oh, this is not what I'm used to." And there's an immediate aversion to it because of that. I think.
You're like, "Oh, I sound
Yeah.
like Jason Bent." You're like, "Oh, just call it a night." Oh God. So, well, I think it's time that we head over to the after show.
Sure
and,
is.
We want to express our condolences to anybody who listens to the Green Suitors podcast. It is the worst podcast in our space, and it is available on Apple and Spotify.
You will be
Alright.
missed.
And you can check out For the Gram too while you're at it.
Yeah, check out For the Gram.
Yeah.
That's actually a good podcast.
We should have like a 3-way cage match.
Mm. Can you imagine if we got 3 here, 3 on Green Suitors? That's 6. If we had an 8-person podcast,
Yeah. Hey, I'm thinking out loud here. Are we the youngest woodworking podcast out there?
I don't know.
What's
There
AWC?
are probably ones that pop up.
Yeah. Some of the kids out there.
Yeah.
I wonder if
That's
there's
the
like a
thing.
Gen Z woodworking podcast.
Nobody knows. Like podcasts, people are like, "Oh, you listen to Wood Dowel podcast?" I was like, I don't know what that is. Because there's no discovery. Like, unless one
It's
of your
true.
friends tells you about a podcast,
Yeah.
you have no idea.
Yeah.
Which is a shameless plug for us to tell you guys, tell your friends about this podcast so we can grow this thing, get bigger, better guests. And we're trying to get Keith Johnson on, but he said he won't join unless we get 10 more Patreon subscribers. So if you guys want to hear Keith,
Damn it.
that's what we got to do.
Okay.
Share it
we
all.
gotta do this.
Yeah,
We gotta do
share it
this.
all. And it costs you nothing. Tell your friends.
That's right.
Tell your friends. Tell Kelly Clarkson. Tell your grandmother.
Share, yeah, just share everything with your grandma, and it's going to show the algorithm, and they'll start spinning this out there more.
That's right. Shares is what everybody's looking for. That's the number key metric on every social platform is shares.
We need to go on a viral sticker campaign where we send out millions of stickers and have people just plaster them absolutely everywhere.
I like it.
Airdrop
I like
them
it.
over a major city.
You know what I
Even
should
we're in
do? Have you
Atlanta.
ever been on an airplane where like as soon
No,
as you
never.
land somebody fuck off. As soon as you land, somebody tries to like airdrop photos and stuff.
Oh yeah,
We should
that's
airdrop when we're
airdrop a
at
link.
Workbench Con. We
Oh, that's
should
such a good idea.
we should airdrop for
What?
the Off the Cut
Okay,
podcast.
okay, I like that. That is
Stand
a
in the
really good
middle and
idea.
throw them all in the air.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that would be
especially we could do a literal airdrop too, because last year our hotel room was up really high, and for
yeah.
people who haven't been to Workbench Conference, it's like there's a big atrium in the middle of this hotel, and all the rooms look down on it. It's got to be
Yeah.
like 25 stories or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So we could just go to the top and throw out stickers.
I'd be down for it. But
Till
then
they
it'd have
kick
our
us out.
names on it.
Yeah, we might get kicked out, but we'll do that on the last day.
That's fine. We'll
Yeah,
never
everybody's
return to
hungover waiting.
Workbench Con again.
Yeah,
Just go down the hallway and slap a sticker on every door as we go by it.
that too. That too.
It's not a bad idea. Not a
There's
bad
no
idea.
way it could possibly get back to us.
Yeah. Not a chance. No way. Well, we will get back to you guys next week with a special guest.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But you'll
for this
have to
one.
wait to learn who that's going to be.
You'll see. You'll see in
You'll
1
see.
week.
Yeah, you'll see in 1 week. But if you want to hang out with us, head over to patreon.com/offthecut podcast. And we're going to head over to the after show. I've got some grievances to air.
I got grievances too.
This is going to be a good one.
I've always got grievances.
I know. All of the grievances. And we've got questions. Some good questions.
Perfect.
Some woodworking questions for all of
Yeah.
you people. So until then, we'll catch you next week. And
See
tell your grandmother I said hi.
Say hi to your mom for me.
Say hi to your mom. For me. All right. We're out of here. See you guys.
I saw a guy who had a bumper sticker that said, "Tell your dog I said hi," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of
That's not
cute. I like that."
not We didn't get any Facebook trolls come in this week.
No Facebook
Mhm.
trolls.
Who's the idiot with the hat on? Or like,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. All of us sometimes.
Yeah.
Did we get
I
any
think
questions
last-
in the live stream?